Hi, welcome to Nara's Method podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about feminine energy and dating with Dana. Welcome, Dana.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's an exciting topic to talk about, and I feel like it's very useful for so many people here in Dubai. And tell us more. How did you decide that this is the thing that you want to do, and why do you want to help people with this specific topic?
Well, interesting question. I actually started out as a health coach, and I found with the clients that I was working with in that domain, a lot of their issues stemmed from being unhappy in their relationships. And then that shifted to me really looking into that. And then in my previous relationship, I was unhappy. And so I went to different therapists. I went to a psychologist, to a counselor, and none of that really resonated with me. But when I found feminine energy coaching and dating coaching, that really spoke to me, and it really helped me transform and shift my internal climate. And it really, really helped me get out of that relationship, which was toxic, but I was just completely blind to it. So I find it very, very powerful, the concept of feminine energy and working directly with a coach who's going to help you through dating and relationship topics and aspects, because love is life. We all want to be in love. We all want to be in relationship, and what makes the world go around.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I never thought that this is like you could go for like a dating coach, basically.
Yeah.
I never knew it exists, right? I think it would be very useful at the time when you're dating, to actually have somebody besides your friends, which you keep constantly messaging them and asking them, like, what do I do now? You know, like, oh, this happened. And it's like, I don't know, like if you are in a good relationship with your mom, you ask your mom, and then your sisters, your cousins, your friends, and it's just like everyone, but everyone is so busy with their own life, right? And nobody really can give you
and they're biased
advice
too. So I become that friend. I become your dating bestie. So in the work that I do with my clients, you can WhatsApp me Monday to Saturday. You can send me screenshots of chats. You can send me whatever's happening, and I'm there for you. And I give you the professional advice, the non-biased, because when you message your mom or your best friend or your sister, like if they don't like the guy you're dating, it doesn't matter how happy you are, they're never going to give you that, true, clear advice that you need, because their opinion's always going to be clouded by their personal judgment of him. So, so I help my clients from a removed aspect, a neutral foundation, so I can really give them that clarity that they need on their dating journey. And it's amazing. It's so transformational. Yeah, it's really fun. I love it.
It must be it must be something they're very interested in as well, right? To do it like on a daily basis, and to have people messaging you. And do people actually like message you? Like, do your clients message you every single day? And
Yeah, because it's very interesting. Some clients, because we work on Zoom also, so work usually it's typically a 3-month container, a 3-month process. And so we have Zoom hours too, but the WhatsApp is just great to touch base every day. And some clients, they love it. They're like really involved. And if you're actively dating, or if you're having a little road bump in your marriage or your relationship, it's really nice to have that validation, or to have that, someone holding your hand, even if we're on opposite ends of the world. And so some people, they just want to check in every day, or they want to ask a question, or they had a fight with their husband or their spouse, or they had a weird experience on a date and they want just to dissect it. And it's great. We can chat right then, right there. And some women, they're busy, or they're not so into chatting, it really depends. So it's really great because it touches all different personality types depending on what they need. And sometimes, some clients change. 1 week they're very busy dating, 1 week they're not so busy, so we don't chat as much. But it's just that, that little blanket of comfort if they need it. Yeah.
And would you say that you work mainly with people who want to date, or with people who already are in the process of dating, or another category, right? People that are in relationship dating, but it's not going very smooth. So which ones do you work with mainly?
All of those categories. Obviously, my personal preference is for the woman who wants to date and wants to learn how to date, or who is actively dating. Because I find with this kind of work, with all kind of personal development work, the best way to heal and to transform and to shift your mindset or to change your life is to have to be triggered. I know that sounds quite hectic, but like to feel triggered, to be triggered, because when we feel triggered, it helps us to confront the parts of ourselves that need to be healed. So when you're actively dating or when you're on a date or when you're in a relationship, you always get triggered by your partner, or you have things that come up with whoever you're dating. And that enables you to become more aware of what is irritating you in your life or in yourself and to work through it. So if you're just sitting at home and you're not interacting with anyone, like it's safe, it's comfortable, you're never going to be triggered, you know. Maybe your cat will trigger you, but I mean, like, what's your cat going to do? You know? So like when you're dating or when you're with men or with friends or people, when you're out being social, you're going to find yourself getting irritated, annoyed, or feeling hurt or upset. And that's very powerful. That's when me and my client, we can work together and we can dissect it and analyze and do different tools and work on tapping into her beautiful feminine energy so that she can really transform and heal and grow and upgrade. And that's very powerful.
So triggers, it's interesting that you're mentioning it. Triggers, would you advise people to notice their triggers, and that's where the issue is lying? In relations and in relations, that's where we get triggered the most, right?
Yes. It's not solely where the issue is lying, but when you can learn to become more self-aware and aware of when you get triggered, what triggers you, then that's a great opportunity for you to look within and be open to healing. And that's where you can kind of evolve. Let's say, like, I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you've experienced this, or you have friends that have experienced this. They attract the same kind of relationships over and over again. It's because maybe they haven't been open to working with their triggers. They don't want to interact with the pain or the dark or the icky feelings. So they just kind of go along and they don't do the work to heal. And because it's hard sometimes, you know, to be confronted with your triggers and to be, hey, actually, I don't really like this kind of relationship, but I'm so scared of being alone. So if I don't like this relationship and I look within and I actually say, hey, I don't feel good, then we'll end up breaking up and I'll be alone, you know? So it's like that's a bad example. But, you know, a lot of people, they don't want to do the work. They just want to be blind and go along on the ride and just hope for the best. And
What would you advise for people who are planning to start dating? That they are not dating anyone and they don't know where to start. What would you advise?
Okay, great question. So you want to get very clear with what you want. So if you don't know what you want, then how are you going to get there? So it's like for anything in life, you know, if you want to cook dinner, you got to kind of get an idea. What do you feel like eating? You're not just going to go to the kitchen and like hope for the best. You have to have a bit of an idea of what you want, what tastes good for you, what makes you feel good. So in a relationship or when you are wanting to start dating, what are you looking for? Are you looking for lasting love? Are you just wanting something casual at the moment? So get very honest and get very clear with yourself what you want, and then write it down and be aware and be conscious of how you want to feel, because being single is amazing. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to create a conscious foundation and be intentional about what it is you want to call in for your life, because your relationships take up a lot of your time and a lot of your waking hours. So you want to be in a relationship or in a dating experience that makes you feel good. And a lot of women, men and women, they find themselves in relationships that don't leave them feeling good, and then they feel frustrated, and it really, impacts their whole life. So get very clear, be intentional, write it down, be honest with yourself. A lot of people are not honest. Be honest about what it is you really want, and how you want to feel. Do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel seen? Do you want to feel loved? Or do you just want someone who's really rich, but he doesn't treat you well? So be very clear, be intentional. Yeah.
Do people know that in advance?
Yeah, I don't know. But just write it all down. Yeah. Say as much as you want. Be honest with yourself. What do you truly desire?
Because I think it's very important that you're mentioning being honest with yourself, because I find a lot of people, they say that they want something.
Yes.
But then even to themselves, they think that they want it. And then when they go into a relationship and even they feel like, oh, I just want casual relationship. And then actually what they want is a family.
Yes.
But since they're not honest with themselves, right? They don't know it. And they're like, oh, that's what I wanted. Or I thought that I wanted it. But then at the end, that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
So do you help clients to get through this process and like to
and
do you start off with them like to explain them like so we give advices, right? And then do you work with them through it for them to be actually honest about what do they want?
Yes, definitely. That's like the starting point of us working together. And most women, they come to me because they want a real relationship. They're not coming to me to find a casual situation. So what I find, a lot of people, they want real love, they want lasting love, but they have these men that come to them and want to give them that, but they don't realize that they're emotionally shut down, or they are emotionally unavailable in some ways. Like they thought that they were very emotionally available and very open for a relationship, but when a healthy man comes to them, they freak out. And so we work on healing those aspects of their, I don't say their karma, but their personality or their experiences. And that's very interesting because a lot of people wouldn't classify themselves as emotionally unavailable, but they are. So that's quite interesting. And it's important just to learn about yourself in that way and have that awareness so you can break through and grow and elevate yourself.
Talking about feminine energy. So when you say feminine energy, I imagine like, somebody wearing pink and all this flowery and, cute. Yeah. and I cannot relate. And then I'm like thinking maybe I'm in my masculine energy all the time. That's why I cannot relate to that. And I cannot like see that. Yeah. So what is feminine energy? And I know we all have it, man or woman, we all have it. But so tell me more about it.
Yes, good question, because a lot of people have different definitions of feminine and masculine energy. So in the work that I do, as you mentioned, all men and women have both masculine and feminine energy, and it kind of comes from the philosophy of the yin and yang. There's like some Asian terminology, I can't think of what it is now. And so the feminine energy is when you're being present, it's when you're in the moment, it's when you're in your feeling body, you're feeling your emotions, you're feeling your feelings, you allow yourself to receive. Masculine energy is very much giving. So whenever you feel like you want to give. So a lot of people think being a mom is feminine, but being a mom is very masculine. It's very giving, controlling, managing, taking care of, nurturing, very masculine energy. It's the thinking energy. You want to plan. You're either going in the future or you're going in the past, and you're trying to like control everything and make it perfect. And so whenever you see a woman who's trying to control her man or doing everything for her man, she's very much in her masculine energy. Mm-hmm. Like she's cooking for him, cleaning for him, booking his doctor's appointments. That's masculine energy, And that's when you're in a marriage. It's okay to be a little bit in your masculine, but you got to let your man be in his masculine too. But a lot of women, they come from the beginning stages of dating, they accelerate into their masculine because they think the more that they give, the more that they do for the guy, the more that he'll want her. But it doesn't work that way because the man wants to give. He's a natural hunter. He wants to hunt and chase the woman. It makes him feel like a man. He wants to give to the woman. So a lot of women have trouble receiving. They think if I receive from a man, it's going to make me... not less than, but they'll feel like they're going to be controlled. But no, a man just wants to give. He wants to pay for your dinner. He wants to give you presents. He wants to treat you like a beautiful woman. And it doesn't mean you have to do anything. It doesn't mean you have to sleep with him, or it doesn't mean you have to give back. Just allow yourself to receive.
It's interesting that you're mentioning about the mothers being in masculine energy. I never thought about it this way. It's like, I would never even imagine that, right? Because it's such a... I don't know, feminine thing to do. They don't like man, obviously, but it's not about man and woman. It's more of about the energies that we have, and they are disbalanced.
Yes.
I think that's a lot of issues that are coming like in relationship, and they're in general, like right now that we're having, that women stepped up a bit too much. Yeah. And we take up on us like way too much, and we do too many things, and we plan many things, and it's all our life design. And men are, like not even there. So I think for a lot of people who are dating or starting to date, they really need to, I wouldn't say let the control go off, because for generations we've been so controlled by men, right? Everything we would do was controlled by how men want things to be done. And I feel like that's probably the real reason why we as women right now are trying to get this control back. But it's interesting that you're mentioning that that's when we go off balance, right?
Yeah.
When we take too much control on us?
So I'm not saying to let the man control you, but it's just let go of control and let him lead. And feminine energy is very much about communicating how you honestly feel. So let's say you just let him lead and it doesn't feel good for you. You've got to be honest with yourself and say, hey, this isn't feeling right for me. I'm not really feeling this. I'm going to be moving on, or I don't really feel comfortable with this kind of behavior or this kind of scenario. So it's up to you to communicate, if something doesn't feel right. And if a man really loves you, if he really wants to make the relationship work, he will hear you when you speak from your feminine energy, because a man wants to please, he wants to give, he wants you to be happy. So he will either change his behavior, course correct, and hope that you feel better. So it's not about letting him control you and dominate you. It's about you really tapping into your heart and relaxing and letting him lead and trusting the experience, and then communicating when it doesn't feel good. Because a man's not going to compete with you. If you are dominating and in your masculine, your man's just going to retreat. He's going to let you be the alpha.
Yeah.
But he's not going to feel good. He's going to feel, maybe he won't even realize he doesn't feel good. He'll just feel like demasculated. What's the word? Emasculated. And maybe he'll have an affair, or maybe he'll be really busy with work, or you'll just feel disconnected, and then you'll feel more frustrated and you'll continue to dominate because you want some kind of change.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is where, for him to come into his masculine, you have to come into your feminine to let his masculine shine. And this can take some time. And it takes really being accountable to yourself to relax and trust that he is able to do stuff. Because if you're the one who's always doing everything, he's out of the practice and out of the habit of doing stuff, because he just knows that you'll do it, because he can feel that you don't trust him. And a man needs to feel trusted, and he needs to feel appreciated.
What do you do when, what would you advise a person to do when you keep telling your spouse, and I don't see that the relationship is much different from dating into marriage.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's the same dynamic that you carry through from dating into marriage, and that's how it stays.
Yeah.
But what would you advise people to do? Women specifically, right? When we keep telling that this should be done, and then it's an urgent matter. But it's only urgent to you. Yes. But it's not urgent to the person in front of you. Yeah. And you keep reminding and reminding and reminding. I don't know, it's same thing when you have I don't know, when you keep telling your kid 5 times what to do and they still didn't hear you. Yeah. So you get to the point where you blow up, and it's the same, and that's motherly energy, right? Same thing. So what do you do?
So that's great, because I love that word that you use, the word urgent and urgency, because whenever you feel that urgency in your body, you know that you're in your masculine energy. It's that when you feel everything's hot and you're you're definitely accelerated in your masculine. So I have some different rules that I use with my clients that can really help you turn the ship around and get your relationship feeling in a more of a balanced place, because it's all about the polarity between masculine and feminine. And I would like to say that when you're dating, it's really important to be fully committed to being 500% in your feminine energy, because that's how you can see if it's the right relationship for you. Mm-hmm. However, when you are married and you have children together, there's a little bit of more flexibility between your masculine and your feminine. But you should still try your best to be as much in your feminine as possible. But for the health of your marriage, of your romantic relationship, try being your feminine as much as possible. But of course, marriage, it's a partnership, so you have to be in your masculine at times, which to get stuff done. Yeah. So the different rules that I really advise, and for you to see a real change and transformation, you've got to commit to these rules strictly for at least 3 weeks. Oh, wow. And if you break them, you've got to start again from zero. So a big one is basically learn to let go of controlling, let go of judging, let go of criticizing, let go of managing the situation, let go of giving advice. Did we say that? Learn to take no for an answer, because I think that's a real hard one. It's hey babe, come to my parents for dinner, or can you do this for me? And they're no, and you're why not? You've got to accept the no, whatever it is, because you have to honor the person, you know, that they're not your, you know, you can't control them.
Subject. It's not your subject.
They're a free human. And if a man doesn't feel free, he's going to start to feel frustrated. Don't ask the innocent question. You know, that question that you ask, like, hey, does my bum look big in this? Or why aren't you doing this? Or why are you eating that? You know, like those questions know you shouldn't ask.
Yeah, I know. Am I fat? Do I look fat in this dress?
They're just going to provoke a fight, or they're going to make someone feel bad. You know, like you're just being mean by asking the question, or you're creating an issue that's not there by asking the question.
Whatever you're describing right now for me is like, don't be in relationship. It's like almost everything you do as a, I don't know, like as a woman, I think that's all you do.
So yeah, it's hard, especially if you're in a marriage.
Especially no for, like, I think that's the big one.
Yeah. Oh, is that a big one for you?
Answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I've been always taught, and that's how I've achieved stuff.
Yeah.
By never, I have a sales background, right? Oh. So I used to work in sales and in business development for a while, and that's
so you like
that's the thing.
Bully people into buying.
I don't have like no is not an answer, okay. Right? It's like never been an answer. So so for me, like whatever you're saying, it's like I've been learning, and I wasn't like this before. Before I started working in sales, and then eventually I stopped. Right now, but before I would learn how to take no for an answer, or not to take no for an answer. It's an acquired skill.
Yes.
And right now what you're saying, I need to de-acquire it. It's
well,
like,
masculine energy is amazing for work and for career, as you know.
Yeah.
But for your love life, it's not so great.
So we can keep that part for business.
For being a mom, for your business, but for your, like, if you're feeling your romantic life is a bit flat, you've got to tap into your beautiful feminine energy, which is about letting go of the no, letting go of needing yes for everything, letting go of control, letting go of judging, the criticism. Yeah, all of that.
Essentially, it's a control, right? It's all about control.
Because when you let go, you're very vulnerable, you know? So that's scary.
And how does that feel not to be scary?
Well, the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it, like anything, you know? It takes practice. And that's why the coaching is great, because you have someone to hold your hand and to help you feel your way through it.
Because most of the time you're not even aware, right, that you're scary.
Yeah, you're not aware, and that's why you're being like, like a cactus, you know, like with all your pricks out, and you're poking your husband or your boyfriend or, you know, your friends even. Yeah.
It's interesting. So I feel like right now it's a big shift, maybe globally, I would even say.
Yeah.
Men are more in their feminine energy, and we are more in our masculine energy, with us being forced to achieve stuff. And, you know, like we always, even having babies is not like, in my opinion, like even though I worked like most of my life, I still feel like having babies, you need to have this time off, and you need to let yourself heal and get back to, you know, like to healthy, normal person that you were.
Yeah.
And I don't think we get that, like society right now puts so much pressure on us not to be that.
Yeah.
To, you know, you deliver the baby and then you get up and you go back at it and you continue doing like everything you were doing before, like nothing happened to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this big shift of like energy goes, because you go from, I think, where you are supposed to be in your feminine energy, you go into your masculine energy and you never get back. Right?
I think people, a lot of women, they forget how to connect to their feminine, you know, because they have this habit of being in their masculine. But
yes. So how do you connect with your feminine energy?
Well, awareness is the first step. So being aware that you're too much in your masculine, and that might happen because you have a breakdown in your marriage, or you have some big light bulb moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm turning 40 and I'm still single and I want to have kids. Why? What's happened? So it's just having that awareness and that shift and that desire to change. Because some people are happy. They're happy being in their masculine, or they don't think there's anything wrong with them. But, you know, you have to have that awareness that you want to change something, because how you're living your life is not really working for you, in the sense that you're not having the experiences you want, whether it's in relationship and love or in whatever areas of life. So awareness is the first step to changing anything. And then how to tap into your feminine energy. It's all about connecting to your feeling body. It's all about allowing yourself to feel emotions. And when you're in that controlling energy, that critical energy, that judging energy, that managing energy, you're in your head, you're in the chin up energy. So you're disconnected from your heart. So feminine energy is all about going from the chin down so you can allow yourself to feel your feelings. And sometimes it's hard, it's painful, it's scary. So yeah, it's about really learning how to tap into your feelings and letting yourself feel your feelings and allowing yourself to fall in love with all of your feelings, the beautiful feelings and the scary, ugly feelings and everything in between, so that you can feel alive. Yeah.
So if you would, I know it's going to be like a difficult, but how would do you have any like rules on how to identify?
Yeah.
That you need to go back to your feminine energy, like sense of urgency, like when I told you about sense of urgency.
So definitely whenever you feel...
what are the let's say 3 things that would be like critical when you would look at a person and you would be like, okay, you're in your masculine energy and it's hurting everything, which I do not like to say, because in the coaching, even like in a coaching, I like to say like if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then if it doesn't work, that's when we work on it.
Yeah, sure.
And if it works, great, amazing. You have a relationship and everything is fine and you're living happy life.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But how would you identify that there is a problem? And how would you think, so for the listeners, I guess, how would you advise them to identify those
well, first
issues?
of all, it's like, as you said, if you're happy living your life the way it is, great. There's no... don't want to use the word problem, but there's nothing to work on. However, it's when the woman is realized, well, actually, I'm not 100% happy and I want to change something. So notice when you're in that urgent energy. Let's say you're dating and someone messages you and you're like, oh, I need to reply straight away. Notice that urgency, or notice that need to do and to... that action. It's like almost like this action that's overtaking your body. You need to do something. That's when you're very much in your masculine. And also notice when you're out and about, if you criticize people, if in your head you're being critical and you're being controlling and you're being judgmental, that's an easy way for people to learn to be more aware. Like when you're at Starbucks or when you're at the coffee shop or whatever, are you criticizing some stranger's outfit or being judgmental towards your taxi driver or whatever? So it's just becoming aware of that talk in your head and noticing how you feel without that chatter. And like, well, why am I being judgmental? Why am I being urgent? What am I actually feeling? What's the feeling underneath that in my body? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling lonely? Am I actually criticizing myself? So it's just that self-awareness, and that will help you kind of shift out of the headspace, out of the masculine, and drop into your heart. But it takes practice and it takes awareness, like anything.
So sense of urgency and the action, right?
Yeah.
I need to get stuff done. I have that energy a lot, right? But I like stuff to be done.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that. Like and
especially in dating, a lot of women, they like want to go up to the man. They see a hot guy at a bar or whatever, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go up to him and talk to him. Let him come to you. Like, you can still flirt from far away. You can smile. You can make eye contact. See if he catches it. But it's that urgency of like, yeah, I'm gonna go over and claim him. That's like very masculine.
That's very, very masculine.
Yeah, and sure, it will work, but it might not work for long term. You might get him for a night or 2 or maybe a month, but he's never going to feel like he got you, because he didn't choose you. You chose him. So you never really know if...
Interesting. No. You got me to another thought.
This is just general.
Yeah.
Every situation's different. But
do you think men choose women or we choose them? It's something like if you're personal.
We always choose them because you always have the say of whether you want to be with someone. But I feel it's very important to let a man chase you a bit and pursue you a bit, because he wants to feel like you want to see that he's interested in you. If you're always the one chasing him, how do you know if he's actually interested or if he's just going along because it's convenient? But as a woman, we always have a choice. If something doesn't feel good, we're like, no, this is not for me. you know?
Yeah.
So,
because I don't want to break hearts, but I always I've been told, and I actually believe in that we as women have the like first and last say.
Sure.
Because even when you're talking about like, I don't know, like making the eye contact and letting the guy approach you, even then you are the one who does the first step, but you don't necessarily do the action of first step.
Yeah.
But there are like cues for them
signals.
to then approach you.
Yeah.
So it's always like that's what I believe in, like that we women, we the one are like to choose, and then it's our choice.
Yeah.
And then the man like approach us after we decided.
Like you want to be with someone who's going to make moves, you know, you don't want to be the one who's always doing everything. So if you like make some eye contact and you're open with your body language and a man approaches you, like it's amazing. It shows that he has a little bit of character, or like, you know, he wants to, you know, he's in his masculine. You know, you don't want to be with someone who's in their feminine and not able to make any decisions or take action, you know?
Do you think it always works to be in your feminine energy for dating, or do you think there are sometimes men that they're in their feminine energy all the time and they're much more comfortable with women who are in their masculine energy?
Oh yeah, totally. Definitely.
That's a working. I don't want to cut it off for people. It off and disappointed people, right? It's sometimes it works for some people.
Yeah. And
it's always about polarities, right?
But it's like, as a woman, are you more comfortable in your masculine energy, or are you more comfortable in your feminine energy? And from my experience, most women want to be in their feminine energy. They don't want to be the leader and the manager all the time, you know? Of course, sometimes we like it, but all the time, no. But some women, they're comfortable being 500 fully in their masculine, and they will be happy with a feminine energy man who's going to do whatever they want, you know, and be controlled by them and dominated by them. They'll feel happy. Yeah. So there's no right or wrong, but I feel a lot of women are unhappy in their love lives because they are unconsciously in their masculine energy, and they're stuck in a cycle of wanting a masculine energy man, but they are also approaching dating and relationship from their masculine energy. And that's where you're having that disconnect and that clash.
Yeah, because I think there's a big differentiation between being in your masculine energy, as you mentioned before, at work.
Yes.
And
so it's about leaving that energy at work.
And in personal relations.
Yeah. So it's keeping your masculine energy for your work, for your business, and then shifting into your feminine for your love life.
How do you shift?
Yeah.
So how do you shift when you're so, like the way most of the day you spend at work, right? Yeah. Most of the majority of our days we spent being at work, doing whatever is necessary for business and work. How do you go back home and change and become this beautiful, gorgeous, you know, like calm person?
So it's having that awareness, of course, you know? So when you come back from work, just come into your body. Maybe when you're on the way back from work, listen to some music that makes you feel good, that connects you with your heart. And when you come home to your man, and just, you know, really be conscious and breathe into your heart space. And when he asks you, how was your day? Don't talk about work. Be like, oh, find a moment from your day that felt really good to you. Even if it was just having a sip of coffee, or having a nice shower in the morning, or maybe you saw a beautiful flower, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything extra. Just find that moment from your day that felt good to you, and just be like, oh, I felt so good today. I had the most delicious latte and it just felt so yummy in my mouth. So you're not talking about work, but you're connecting with what felt good to you in your body, and you're sharing that. And that's all your man wants to know. He doesn't, you know, he wants to know that you felt good, and he wants to hear how wonderful you feel. He doesn't want to hear about, there's a time and a place for sharing stuff, but you want to have that first point of connection that's something positive and it's coming from you and from your heart, and that feels good.
Do you find it it's a bit pretentious then? Like this is not how you felt during the day, and then you come and you try to...
No, it's not pretentious, because it's not about lying. You're finding a moment that was honest for you.
That's an actual true moment.
A true moment. You're not fabricating or lying or manufacturing an answer. But this is if you're asking how to get into your feminine energy. Yeah. So you find a moment from your day. Could be from the moment you woke up to the moment you got home. Doesn't have to be anything to do with work. But I mean, out of your whole day, it's not all horrible.
Yeah. There must be something.
Even if it was like, you know, you were laughing with someone at work, doesn't matter what it was. Doesn't have to do anything with work. Just a moment, like it could be like, oh, you had a really nice cold glass of water with a lemon in it, you know, just whatever moment that felt good for you. When your husband or whoever asks you, how was your day? Just like, oh, I had the most delicious glass of water. It just felt so refreshing. The lemon just made my senses pop. And he'll be like, ooh, wow, that sounds amazing. So it's not pretentious. You're connecting with your heart. So it's the first steps of being vulnerable and being your authentic self. And when you can practice that every day, it allows you to go deeper because it connects you with your heart and your body.
Do you find that it's very related to the positivity?
And of course, in some ways, but, you know, like no one wants to hear how horrible things are all the time.
No, yeah.
So it's not about not talking about the horrible things. It's about making that first point of connection good. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it's if you every day you're like, oh, this was horrible, this was terrible, you know, the other person's going to shut down because they're going to start associating you with just everything's horrible and terrible. And you're not going to feel good. So it's all about making you feel good. So it's taking you back to that moment in your day that felt good, even though the rest of the day was not great. So you are like healing yourself in the sense that you're transporting yourself back to a moment that felt good for you. So you're connecting back to that moment, which kind of energetically refreshes your cells and refreshes your vibe. And it's that vibe that's so important when you come home, that beautiful, calm, feminine energy vibe, not that masculine vibe. So it's getting you into a different vibrational state.
It's interesting that like when you're talking about it, it just brings me to the, if we did that with everything.
Yes, well, you know,
like
do that with
it's not necessarily about relationship. Even if you're not in relationship, you know, like when all you think about is bad.
Yes,
the bad is all that's happening, and bad is all that you're concentrating on. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and that's what you're gonna experience all the time. So I feel like the exercise that you're talking about is, I would call it exercise.
Yeah, no, it's a
right?
tool. It's one of the tools that we practice. It's one of the foundational tools.
So it's basically like you're using all your senses to try to remember something good.
Yeah,
and then just be more positive and have more happy vibes in your life, happy stuff happening to you in your life, because we tend to not remember what good happened to us, but we always remember what the bad experiences, right?
Sure.
They're much more much more like stronger in our memory than the good stuff. So I feel like this would be so useful to just practice on a daily basis. Like with anything, you don't have to have a partner for that.
No, because my clients, most of them are dating. So I'm like, you must practice this when you order your coffee, when you buy your groceries, when anyone asks you anything. It doesn't have to be how was your day. Just come back and be like, oh, it's feeling so interesting touching this table. It makes me feel so connected to earth or whatever. You know, it's just about connecting to your feelings and practicing expressing how you truly feel, because that's important in relationships and dating, to communicate how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not to say when you are in a marriage or in a relationship not to talk about when something's not good, but it's all about your vibe when you talk about it. So it's getting your vibe into this feminine energy place. So if you had a bad day at work, you can be like, oh, I'm just feeling so horrible today. Work just didn't feel good. But you're saying it in a warm and soft way. You're not being aggressive, and you're not like venting and getting like, you know, vomiting all over your partner.
Yeah, all this bad stuff.
It's just being very intentional about your vibe and your energy. And
it's you're practice. Present, and you know, like everything you're mentioning, it's like being present, which is, I think, quite important. I think that's what we're missing a lot during the day, and because we're like robots, right? We do everything on autopilot. Everything is autopilot.
Masculine energy is very much robotic. It's very much being a reporter. So I'm teaching women how to be a poet and how to get in touch with their feelings and express their feelings in a beautiful, warm, authentic way. And that's when a man will really hear you, and he'll be like, wow, this woman is so in touch, and I want more of that. I want to feel connected like she's connected. And I want, you know, that's when his heart will open. And
I know that you don't work with men specifically, but Do you find that men are suffering with too much masculinity and no feminine energy in them? Do you find that coming across?
I would say there's a lot of people like to talk about toxic or like dark masculine, dark feminine. I wouldn't say that. I just feel like men are men, and you know, the more you can be in your feminine energy, if you're with a healthy man, the more he'll be inclined to be in his masculine energy. And sometimes even if you are in your feminine energy, if a man is not in a healthy space, he's not going to change. And that's for you to be aware and be like, well, this is how he is. It doesn't feel good for me. I'm exiting the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you... Okay, since we're talking about exiting the dating, because dating is so complicated, and then like marriage, dating, like marriage is a bit more complicated than dating. With the dating, what are the signs that the relations is not working?
Well, only you know that in your relationship, so I can't speak about
how do you advise I know we don't advise with coach,
this is like, trust your feelings, you know. A lot of women, they don't trust their feelings, and that's where it goes wrong. And back to the other point, they're with a man and they're being fully in their feminine, well, they're trying to be in the feminine energy, but he's just not stepping up. And then they want to change him, but he is who he is. So you can't change someone, especially in the beginning, you know, like this is who he is, so better to leave. And if you're in a dating experience, just follow your feelings. A lot of women, they don't trust themselves, or they don't follow their feelings. They're like, oh, it's gonna be different next month will be different,
it's gonna change,
let's give it a few more months, or let's see. But if you're not happy now, you've got to trust yourself and communicate, hey, I don't feel good, this is not feeling good for me, and then be confident to express in a beautiful feminine way, not an aggressive way, not a controlling, dominant way. I don't feel comfortable with this and this and this. Like, what do you think we can do about it? So you're putting the power to him, you know? What do you think we can do about it? And if he wants to fix the situation, or he wants to help the relationship or the marriage, he'll offer his thoughts on it, and then you can grow as a couple and work through it.
Yeah.
But if a man is not interested, he'll just argue with you, or he'll think nothing's wrong, or he'll just not be interested in the work needed to accelerate the situation and to resolve. So that's where you have to be very aware and be like, hey, well, I deserve better, or this is not feeling right for me, and I need to leave now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's well, if there would be three, it's going to be hard, but if there would be three takeaways or advices for people who are just starting to date, what they would be?
Yeah, so trust yourself and get clear with what you want, and have fun. Don't be so serious, you know? Like, learn to relax and let go of control, because that's when you can be in your beautiful feminine energy, and that's when your vibrational self will resonate at its highest vibe, and that's when you can attract a really amazing man. But just relax and date lots of men at the same time. Don't sleep with them, don't even kiss them, but just date different kinds of guys. Like, go on first, second, third dates with all different kinds of guys, so you can get a feel for what's out there. Because a lot of women, they just date one guy at a time, and they get attached, or they get obsessed, or they don't see that the behavior is not great, you know. But when you can date different men at the same time, you can get a feel. You can be like, okay, well, this guy paid for me, this guy didn't pay for me, or this guy was rude to the waiter, or this guy, he doesn't make any plans, it's always me making plans, I don't like how that feels. So you get a feel, you know. Doesn't mean you have to kiss any of them, doesn't mean you have to sleep with any of them. You're just practicing being social and communicating your needs and your desires. So yeah, and then you can really make an informed decision on what you like, you know. You don't settle.
It reminds me of like insurance market.
Yeah.
You just have the options, and then you decide.
Yeah, don't limit your options. Keep your options open until there's a real commitment on the table, and it's a commitment that makes you feel really good. Yeah.
It's very unconventional advice, but yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, you don't need to sleep with anyone. You don't need to kiss anyone. You're just, you know, you're
Yeah, a date is a date. It's just meeting somebody.
Meeting and you're communicating your needs and your desires. So say what you want. Say, I'm looking to get married one day. You're not saying I'm wanting to get married to you.
Yeah.
You're saying, you're being honest. You're like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. This is what I want for my love life. This is why I'm dating. Not dating so that I can, smile at a stranger in a restaurant.
Then another question comes in. Do you believe in clicking with somebody or no?
No, I'm like,
when you meet somebody, do you believe like that, there is a thing like people fall in love and do you believe in that, or do you believe that it's all kind of what we communicate and what we agree on in relations?
For sure, people click and they have chemistry, but instant chemistry is not always a good thing because it can be, unconscious childhood trauma or childhood attachment wounding from a caregiver. So a lot of people, they want that instant chemistry, but it doesn't mean it's the right partner. So you have to be very aware. And this is why I highly advise do not sleep with anyone for a long while, because a lot of people, they feel that instant chemistry and they think they found the one, but it's just because your unconscious is feeling this familiarity from this person because they act like your mom or your dad or your grandma or whoever. But that doesn't mean that you had a great relationship with that person, So I think it's just about being very intentional about what you really want for your love life. And I think relationships and marriage, it's a choice. It's a commitment you make. You choose to be with that person, whether there's chemistry still there or no chemistry, or the click is not there at the moment.
Yeah. The click is off. The charge went off.
So, it's about committing to yourself and what you want. I'm not a huge fan of the instant chemistry, but I know a lot of people, they won't date someone without the instant chemistry.
Yeah.
But I don't always.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
I don't
like
always
this
think
too.
it's a good thing. You have to go beyond the looks, and you have to really be clear with yourself. Do your values align? Is what you want for your life aligned with what they want? How do you feel about their lifestyle? So you've got to go beyond the chemistry, I think.
So butterflies in your stomach is not a good thing. Or it's not always a good thing.
I believe that you can cultivate butterflies.
Yeah.
So I believe the butterflies that you can build are more powerful than the instant butterflies, because you've already spent time with the person and you've decided that they are someone that you would like to get to know better. And sometimes, you build the butterflies, you fall in love, the instant butterflies. I mean, you meet someone on the street and you have instant butterflies, but you have no idea who they are.
Yes.
They could be a serial killer.
Exactly. That's my first thought.
Gosh.
Maybe you just feel danger.
But you're like, oh, he's so hot. He's the father of my future children. I mean, he's like a psycho, Like, you don't know him.
It's like,
don't know anything about him. He's got nice biceps and
nothing, no information.
Eyes,
yeah. It doesn't mean anything
about him. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying butterflies sometimes feel like maybe your body feels danger. And that's why the butterflies are
it's
there.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's a sign of like there's something off, but we don't always take it as. And from my experience, butterflies are not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing, but
I feel like it's your body actually. That's the gut feeling that we don't want to listen to.
Yeah,
but we take it as great. That's a great feeling instead of thinking about it as maybe there is something off. We think about it as amazing. Yeah, that means yes. But
so you can build the butterflies, and I think that's more powerful. Like you can build the butterflies, and
because it's a conscious decision then after, which is not always like in the beginning of relations. It's not always a conscious decision when the butterflies are involved. You always like.
Well, I'm teaching women how to find lasting love. So I think that is building the butterflies is more powerful and leads to the lasting love rather than the instant butterflies, which might be fun for a month or two, and then it's lots of stress and trauma. Well, not always, but
but then reality hits, right?
You fall in love with a serial killer.
Butterfly becomes a moth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh God. It's a interesting matter. Butterflies or no butterflies.
Yeah.
But I think if we had to choose, I think no butterflies is much better.
I think
in the long run, in a longer term relationship, I feel like that's not the main thing that you need to be focusing on. There are so many much more important things, like actually things that are valuable to you that you should be focusing on rather than on just the feeling that you got when you first met a person.
Yes.
Because it's not based off anything.
Yeah, because I always say, a lot of women, they're like, oh no, I knew in the first 5 minutes of the first date. But you've got to be open. You've got to at least have 2 or 3 dates, because, you know, the first date, you're nervous maybe, or he's nervous, or, you know, it's stressful. And then the second day, you know, like there's a bit more comfort. And the third day, you can make a better decision, like, because you've gotten to know them a little bit better. And then you can be like, oh, am I going to continue, or am I going to say goodbye? So I always say, if you really want to love yourself and give yourself as many options as possible, and if you're really serious about finding lasting love, give the guy 2 to 3 dates, you know?
Yeah, minimum.
So yeah. A lot of women are just like, no, like 1 date, no, I didn't feel it, no butterflies.
No butterflies.
Or whatever.
Everything is dead inside.
Or he was ugly. I'm like, oh, it's not about the look. I mean, looks are a bit important.
For some people, it's important. Yeah, I would say like some people value that much more than anything else.
But I think you can, like, someone can grow on you and become beautiful to you, you know? And yeah, that's my opinion. But
it's absolutely, it's very subjective, right, of what we think about it and how we feel about it. But yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. I don't know. I have that, though. It's weird. I have like very strong belief that my first impression is always right.
Yeah.
But that's regarding everyone. It's not just about like, you know, just, you know, in a relationship or in a dating, but that's how I feel about it. But then.
Well, that's good, because some people are more connected to their intuition. So maybe you're just more in tune with your gut. But a lot of people are not. You know?
I guess so. Yeah. Because for me, so always like, oh no, but I just, if it's no, it's a no, you know, like with anyone, like whether it's like, I don't know, even employee. And if it's a no for me, it's a no from the beginning. And if it's a yes or maybe, then that's where the areas where I explore and I look at it. And I don't know if that's a masculine or feminine energy, but here we are.
No, I would say like trusting your intuition is very in your feminine energy. And it's just healthy, you know, it's a healthy way to be. So if it's working for you, that's good. Yeah, if
it's working, we're not fixing it.
Exactly.
But yeah, absolutely. I think the takeaway from you would be trust yourself.
Yeah, trust yourself. Yeah,
and be honest with yourself, because that's 2 important things. Like for me, I feel like that's what we're missing a lot.
Yes.
Like a lot of us is trust and honesty, but with ourselves.
Yes.
And then we can demand it from other people.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it's our lives, you know. You're living your life for you, you know, so you have to do what feels good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you.
It was amazing and insightful. And I think lots of people are going to benefit.
Yay,
everyone's going to go look for butterflies. If they can cultivate them or not.
And I have a quiz on my website that lets you know if you're more in your masculine or more in your feminine energy. So whoever's watching should do it.
Amazing. Give me the link.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.